great segue into tell us about the unique approach that CORE has when it comes to how you respond to these crisis situations. And why do you think your approach has been more effective than traditional relief?
Again, I think it's because we're much more holistic. We don't, there's the it's a double-edged sword, right? On one side, it's so much easier when you're an organization to say, we do education, we do water.
Yep,
People
exactly.
understand that. And it's a much easier quote unquote sell, right? Our organization doesn't have that specific focus. There's things that we normally do and we have expertise in. But for us, it's really important to get down on the ground and to understand what do people need and kind of bring the many things that communities normally need to recover so that it looks like, it's not just like the food, water, shelter, but looking at livelihoods, looking at longer term housing solutions, looking at, where can we make sure that people can send their kids safely to school or someplace safe to be during the recovery phase. So each disaster is quite unique. There are components that you see over and over again, but I do think what differentiates us is that we are able to kind of think of things in a much more holistic way. And it's not to say that we do everything. There's so many amazing groups that do their sectoral thing very well. And that's why it's important for us to partner. So collaboration and coordination and partnership is at the core of everything that we do. Um, we have incredible partners that bring health support. We have other partners that bring food. We have other partners that bring, diapers and baby formula. So we don't try to do everything. We just try to know everyone and then try to bring those pieces in as needed.
I know I like how you're describing that, and obviously it's been working for you. CORE really does emphasize working directly with people in the community, which we're going to get to in just a second. But maybe just to give flavor for my listeners, of course, the war in Ukraine, the devastating fire in Maui, both of those are recent things that are in the news quite a bit. Particularly the fire in Maui was just in the news all the time, 24/7 there for a while. And I saw that on your website that you're doing some work there. So maybe give us a bit of a front lines perspective on what's going on in both those situations. Share as much as you'd like, and what's your assessment so far from your point of view? What really is needed, and then how has CORE been able to really go to those root issues and get to relief to those who need it most?
So it's those are very good examples because it's so diverse, right?
Yeah, right, exactly.
Yeah, Ukraine is a long-term crisis that we expect is going to last for years.
Yeah.
We are working on two tracks right now. We are looking at providing immediate support to the front lines,
Okay.
communities that still need fuel, water, food, basic materials, and now that winter's coming again, winterization. But we're also looking at how can we ensure that the displaced are being housed in not just emergency settings, because it's now been over a year, it's been about a year and a half.
Yeah.
Um, and looking at longer term housing solutions. So we set up an incredible rental housing system. So basically, where there are 1,000 families housed in Lviv in gyms, we're decompressing those emergency shelters because it's just sort of open, on the gym floor
Right.
and giving those families opportunities to actually find apartments to rent for 6 months. And
Hmm.
usually we're finding that the majority of folks do stay on in those rental situations.
Okay.
And as well as decompressing those folks to go back to places that are safe. And if it requires, windows and doors and some light repairs and reconstruction, that's what we do as well. We've
Mhm.
also been doing construction on sort of like dormitories where you can have your own space, but share and your own bathroom, but share like a kitchen area. So we feel like, again, you need to provide different options and not just one thing
Yeah.
to be able to be accommodating to the different needs of different people. So that's what Ukraine looks like